Hey folks, Jim Hanson. I am talking now with Kate Norley, who is reporting for Black 5 from Iraq. How you doing, Kate?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Sounds like you got yourself into some interesting places, and I saw some very cool pictures of what looked like some kind of council meeting. Could you tell me about that?
Yeah, that was great. I've been embedded with a infantry unit, a striker brigade, and they've I mean it was easy to see that they've really built some strong relationships um, all around their AO outside. And so they've got, aside from always, doing security checks, um, they also are going to meet with the locals to help, discuss with them their plans to continue to, rebuild their local area and, kind of trade information back and forth as far as, what's been going on in the area, any concerns, and kind of what the agenda is for the week to come. So I was included on that, which was pretty great. It was from the local sheikhs, and I was flattered not only that they accepted to have a female come along and sit in on the meeting, but also just to see the level of professionalism that was held, by both sides. Not only by the local sheikhs, but also, with the military unit that I was with. It was early on. I noticed that it was a really healthy relationship.
So, I mean, the tone of the meeting was cordial and not really tense, or were there, were
Oh
there
my God,
tones of
no, not at all. No, it was not tense at all. I mean, it was very relaxed. I mean, those of us that, the meeting was held, um, outside the wire, and it was at the house of, a local villager. But when we went, we took all our gear off, our kits off. We had security pulled around the area that we were going to be meeting, but once inside, it was very, very just a comfortable relationship. It wasn't like this is the first time they all recognize each other. They know each other by names. The local sheikhs, they know the rank, they know the names, they know who they need to talk to. I mean, they follow up. They're moving paperwork around and they're following up on, you know, one big thing they've been working on is a water irrigation system, to help not only for their farming but also for sanitary purposes. And they've really done a great job kind of constructing this whole plan together, because not only are we helping them put it into effect, we're going to give them some of the resources, but hand it over halfway, and this is something that they're going to take and they're going to complete on their own, because they do know that this is transition. So again, just the whole vibe of the meeting, I was totally blown away. It was so relaxed, very professional. The meeting was very well planned, thought out. And they had about three tasks in mind. They always want to review security. If there's any incidents anybody wants to report, any suspicious activity, and then from there go right to the agenda down the list on projects that are going on in the local area. It was great.
So it kind of sounds like the emphasis has shifted from security operations more toward reconstruction and quality of life, and that seems like a positive step.
Oh, absolutely. On for safety reasons, security is always there, but at the same time, whether it be rebuilding, it also consists. I met this morning actually with some of the Sons of Iraq. I was at their headquarters, um, and they're going to be taking over the primary role for providing security for their own people, and um, that's something that obviously, with so many Americans here right now, we wouldn't be completely working, as fast as we are to train them up and make sure that they feel proficient, in their responsibilities if there wasn't a level of trust there. And there's always, some problem areas, but as time goes on, and this is what, I've talked to a lot of the guys here about, and even some of the villagers, um, really, it's been a huge turnaround, and everybody just feels, has their faith in the progress that continues to build, and that every Iraqi that I've met with, Sunni or Shiite, when I've asked them, what would happen if we were to all of our forces were to pull out tomorrow. And every single one of them has said that would be the worst thing. You know, we've come so far, and if you guys were to leave, our government is not stable enough, and the security is not where it needs to be for us to be able to sustain it on our own. And you know, everything that we've worked up to would be a waste, would be a total wash. So I was surprised to hear that. I mean, from not one, not two, but 10, 20 different locals. So I thought that was a pretty great sign.
Well, now they do seem to be taking more of a lead role, though, as far as the security and the U.S. forces at this point, from what Sean and other folks have told me, seem to be almost in an overwatch role. Now, you told me previously that you'd been out on patrol in a striker, and I've never been in a striker. But how was that, riding around in the striker, and what was the patrol like? Did it seem like the U.S. forces were in a primary denial role, or were they more just there as a show of force to remind people, that the Iraqi forces do have good friends?
If anything, it was to go and to check up on just to stop by the checkpoints where the Sons of Iraq, the Iraqi police stations, the checkpoints that they're holding, and just to check in with them. It's really kind of just to do a run through and say, how are you guys doing? You need anything? Everything going all right? We're just, we're rolling through the neighborhood. We had some, possible support of some IEDs, and so we did some dismounting this morning and walked over a couple miles in 120-degree weather. But all the while, once we got to the end of the destination, we were able to go into someone's kind of house, and as long as we had some sort of loose security, we were taking our Kevlars off and able to kind of throw some water on our face and then turn around and go back to the vehicles. So I've been really surprised about just there's a real sense of security as far as this area we know is completely clear because the relationships that we have with the locals, that they would not let something go unseen, that they know that we dismount here, they know that we walk around just to talk with them, to help them, to work with them. We're not here to point fingers and shake information out of them. It's to the point where they've seen the benefits that if they come to us and that they provide us with information, that we will protect them, or in whatever way that means, in security or protect them and help them, find the resources to kind of get their lives back together.
Well, now contrast that with your previous time there, where I've heard you talk about, being on combat patrols, having to wear a balaclava so no one could see your blonde hair, and taking U.S. casualties. It seems to be almost night and day.
It is for me, and that was, one thing that, again, I haven't even been actually riding in the striker. I've been riding, towards right above the back hatch with the other 50 cal gunner. I've been popping out there just to kind of be able to take it all in. And at first I thought, how stupid am I? Because I've been wearing a ponytail the whole time. But if anything, I mean, it's just, men, women, and children have said, through the translator, we see you, you're American. We also see that you're a female. We see that I think that they take it, there's so many different, measures in culture as far as how they show respect and trust and the way they try to provide for us, when we see them almost in return. I think that they also see that our respect for them is that if we feel comfortable enough to take our gear down or to show that, we trust you, just as you show that you trust us, the feeling's mutual. So, compared to when I was here last time, night and day. I mean, it's a third world country, and it's just, there's, if I were in a third world country anywhere right now, I think when I look across, whether it's an empty space or more of an urban area, you think you kind of want to look out of the corner of your eye, like, some places you can tell when you're in a shady situation. So I think, wherever I would be, I would definitely feel a little guarded. But compared to the Baghdad that I saw in 03 to end of 05, it's a different place.
Now, you mentioned that the Iraqis now are being trusted by the U.S. to provide the security for your forces to go ahead and meet in places like that. And that's something I think that was one of the keys, was for them to feel that they were the ones who were providing security for their own villages, and to use that pride, as a motivator to build esprit de corps among their own units, to where if something bad happens in their AO, they feel let down, and then the people, want to help them find out who did it, because it's a shot against the bow of the whole village. Is that the kind of the feeling the security forces show?
Um, it is. I think that they want to do it. At the same time, they also, understandably, it's kind of like you get one thing, you might as well try and go for the whole load. They do really want to, get things in order and be able to kind of, be self-sufficient as far as the type of facilities that they're working out of. I don't blame them. They want to have actual, structures to work out of, rather than, just kind of have a little, shaded area on the side of a road. They want to be able to, show that they have force and, feel official. And so aside from us helping them, acquire the necessary means to do that, we've also had to encourage them that even though, obviously we are still here and we're not going to leave until they're ready, that, it's also kind of like a little encouragement that, you haven't had to do it in a while, but you wanted it. We're giving you the security that you asked for, and also we're training you to be able to give your own security, but you have to do it. You can't decide, well, we know that, I got a dinner to go to. I know the Americans will come around the corner in the next, 2 hours. Everybody's got to meet their requirements.
Now, one of the big things, I mean, obviously the security situation seems to have improved pretty much across the entire country, but the main thing that is going to allow the Iraqis to step into the front and allow us to step back is provincial elections. Have you heard any discussions about elections for the fall?
I have. I know that. I think prior to that, though, their main focus, and this is what I personally, I like that this is kind of, where they're going with it. That they're thinking on, a lower level first, and that level being, being able to, maintain, their own property and, whatever sort of economics that they have, you know, maybe from the house that they live, or the farm that they work on, how that they can, be self-sufficient. And from there, again, kind of rebuilding communication with their neighbors, understanding where they stand, as a village, and then, further out on like the provincial level. And I think that, with local sheikhs and local, low ranked, government officials, that I think that the type of relationships that they're building with them, that when they look, to the ones coming up in this fall, that their first priority is to make sure that their immediate surroundings are clear. So, I don't know if that really answers your question. I mean, they are thinking about it, but they're in a position with themselves in their area, in the Abu Ghraib area, that they feel safe, they feel secure, and things are really coming around. So going off of that, they're taking care of their local leaders to then go up and make good decisions for them.
I guess that seems to be the key to our change in strategy. Was before we had tried to imply or impose a top-down national government that was going to provide down to the local level, when in this case, once we switched to counterinsurgency, it seems that what we did was empower the local leaders to make their people safe and to improve their quality of life. And then, like you said, that can then flow upstream like a grassroots movement. And as long as the
Hmm.
people are feeling secure in their neighborhoods, and they have food and water, then you have the ability to step back and maybe look at a whole Iraq from a national perspective, as opposed to just, is it safe for me to go to the grocery store to get dinner or go to the market?
Right. And I think a key thing there, if you look at the amount of time now, people are talking about, how many years that we've been in theater. We forget that, Saddam was in power for a long time. He had a lot of people that were with him, and if they weren't with him, they just, fell under his reign, because, they had no personal liberty underneath him. But I think that, just in the past, 6 years even, people have seen, some of the older tribal members either they're no longer with us, or, they're not, um, competent enough to be able to have the power that they had before. And so I think it's really, just a sign of, yes, we've been here, for more than a hot minute, but at the same time, I feel like it's, the whole generation thing. I mean, there's younger generations that have been able to kind of take in their surroundings and see the before and after. And I think, like, straight when you mentioned, like, the grassroots type of thing, that's kind of where they're gaining it from, that people are, becoming more, self-reliant, and be able to, they don't have the same fear that they did under Saddam. And so the fact that they even note that there are other options, I think that's really encouraging to them. And I just think all around across the board that they've got, more, more vast ideas, you know, for all their lives on how to better, continue to be successful.
Well, hey, Kate, we really appreciate your taking the time, the discomfort, the danger of heading over to Iraq and doing something the rest of the media seems to have abdicated responsibility for. They did a great job of covering the carnage and the quagmire, but once it
Yeah.
turned towards success and possibility of victory, they found other places to go. So I have
Yeah.
received a tremendous amount of support for your mission from the readers at Black Five and elsewhere, and they really appreciate the fact that at least some former veterans are going to go back and make sure the message gets told. So thanks a lot, Kate. Godspeed to you and everyone working there in country. And check in with us as soon as you can, and we'll see you soon when you get back to America.
Will do. Thanks so much, Jimbo.
All right, Kate. Have a good one. Bye bye.
You too.